Hello everybody, welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to create a SQL database. We'll connect to the database and make sure that it is working properly. Now this video is designed if you are studying for the Microsoft Azure Fundamentals exam, so we will not get into too many nitty-gritty part of a SQL database. The advanced topics we will save it for another type of certifications. But this one, you will have experience in creating a SQL database and how to work with it. Again, if you're preparing for the Microsoft Azure Fundamental, it's an entry-level certification, and you should not have too much of a problem clearing that exam. In this series of videos, we are working on a series of 23 videos that are specially developed by Microsoft Learning to help you pass and gain hands-on experience with Azure. And we are going to create a SQL database, this lab, in this particular video. So to do this lab, you will have to have one Azure account, free or otherwise. If you do not have one, just go to the portal.azure.com and get a free account, and you should be all set to do this lab. Now, if you look at this lab, really we're going to create the database from the portal. Okay, so once we have created this database, what we'll do, we will test the database and we'll make sure that we are able to log in and run some test queries, make sure it's working properly and our queries are successful. So that's the simplest goal for this lab. So what do you do? I'm going to go to my Azure. I'm already logged in here. So the first thing that I do always, I look and search for the resource that I want to deploy. So I'm going to copy that one, come back over here again in the search bar. I am just going to paste that one, SQL databases, and something should show up. Nothing showed up, so let's try SQL. Yeah, only SQL, it showed up SQL databases. So I'm going to select that one. Note that we are not doing SQL servers, we are doing SQL databases. So click on that one, and this screen should be pretty familiar with you. Here it says no SQL databases to display because we haven't created any. And here they have, whenever Azure is coming up with new features, they will give you some tips. Here they're saying try our new Azure SQL resource browser. This experience offers a unified view of all of your SQL Server resources in Azure, as well as improved sorting and filtering. Click here to go to the new experience. So you want to do that, you can. I don't have any SQL, so let's get started with creating a new SQL instance. Okay. And what we want to do, we want to create that instance and configure the way I have it in the lab. So we will need a subscription, and we're going to create a new resource group. We're going to call it my RGDB, and we're going to call the database as db1. So let's just do that. Here, resource group, create new, and my RGDB. So hit OK, and database name is db1. Come back over here, db1. And next thing, you need to configure a server. Okay, here's a server name that has to be unique. Okay, so we're gonna copy that one. Let's come back over here. What they're saying, for the servers, you click on the create new. Okay, so we don't really have any servers available right now. So create new. Here is the name, Control V, and we're gonna change the last 4 digit to, I don't know, I'm just gonna say 8080, see if it's available. Yeah, it's available. You know what, you can also try something like 14, 16, something that some of the SQL Server uses. Doesn't matter, as long as this is unique and this tick mark says that yeah, this name is available for me, so I can use that one. Next, I need the server login and password. Let's see if they're saying anything. They're gonna go with SQL user, and the password I'm just gonna use for this one a secure username and password. I'm just gonna go with student and a secure password. Okay, so it met my password criteria. So here I'm going to confirm. Okay, so that tick mark meant I typed the password properly. Uh, it says your subscription does not have access to create server in the selected region. For the latest information, so unfortunately, if I have a free subscription, so it seems like it's not allowing me to create in East US. So let's try East US 2 and see the error went away. So you may have a different subscription. You might be able to deploy it in the East US, uh, but in my subscription I could not. Let's come back to the lab. Like over here, see they were able to deploy in East US. Okay, and allow Azure services to access server. So that's another thing. Let's see here. Once I have configured this one, I'm gonna say okay. So this error should go away, and now you have DB1 and the server that is gonna be deployed in East US 2. Want to use SQL Elastic Pool. Like Elastic Pool, again, it provides a simple and cost-effective solution for managing the performance of multiple database within a fixed budget. So if you want to save money, this is something you may want to consider. An Elastic Pool provides compute and storage resources that are shared between all the databases it contains. Databases within a pool only use the resources they need when they need them within configurable limits. The price of a pool is based on only on the amount of resources configured and is independent of the number of databases it contains. So right now I'm just going to choose no, but just keep in mind that this is another price saving option. So whenever you go to cloud, price is a very important factor, so keep that in mind. And for 900, that could be a testable question. What is Elastic Pool? Would you use it? Why would you like to use it? That kind of stuff. So pay some attention, do some research, and be comfortable with that concept. Compute and storage here, they are suggesting general purpose v2 virtual core 32 gigs storage zone redundant is disabled though. So here you can click on the configure database to configure your compute and storage as well. Uh, Basically what it is, it's a SQL service tier and performance level that best fits your organization. So definitely as you move up, you'll be paying more. If you ramp it down, you'll be paying less. So let's see over here in the lab if they ask us to use any particular uh, no, they have not. They have not suggested any tier, so they're going with the Gen 2 V Core 32. So we can keep it the way it is. But just to show you what other tiers are available, I'm just gonna click on that one real quick. And if you look at over here, this is something I would recommend you to spend some time. Okay, so general purpose, why and when you use it, scalable compute and storage option, and IOPS 500 to 20,000, and latency is 2 to 10. But maybe this latency is too much. Your business cannot accept it. It's unacceptable. So maybe you go to hyperscale. In the hyperscale, you have 500 to 204,000 IOPS, and your latency is now dropped to 1 to 10 milliseconds. But maybe even this is not acceptable in your business case. You go to business critical when high transaction rate and high resiliency. So when you go there, your IOPS it's went up to 5,000 to 204,800 IOPS, and your latency only 1 to 2 milliseconds. So that's like wonderful, right? So again, so come back over here. If you go to general purpose tier, you have two different kind. One is a provision. Compute resources are all pre-allocated, build per hour basis on vCore configured. And then you can also choose the serverless. If you go with serverless, compute resources are auto scaled, build per second based on vCores used. So I'm just going to keep this one for now. It's also giving you a little bit about the hardware configuration, what you are using, and even when you are inside this general purpose, you can also change even this configuration. Okay, click on this configuration to change the hardware, and so the cores and the memory that you can change. Again, SQL Server license, do you have already have one? You can save your money up to 55% if you already have a on-prem and you're moving to cloud. So that's another option where you're going to save money. So these are the areas I would recommend that you pay attention, because those could be questions that they may ask you, because it's entry level certification. A lot of goal and stress is on when you're moving to the cloud. What is the cost? Are you going to save money? Is it going to be more expensive? That kind of question, and why you can save money. And over here you can configure your vCores. You can change the vCores to here up to 10, up to 80. And data max size, it could be, up to, looks like 1 TB. Okay, so I'm just gonna bring it down over here. What is it? And then would you like to make this database zone redundant? Right now, by default it's no. You can make it zone redundant if you like. So let's take a look at hyperscale real quick. Hyperscale tier. Storage costs are calculated based on actual allocation. Allocated space increases automatically as needed up to 100 TB. So that's pretty good. So just understand hyperscale, scaling for hyperscale is another service tier is not possible. Then again, it looks like a similar configuration. You can save money, configure your vCores, and here's something else for replica. Secondary replicas provide real scale out for increased performance, as well automatic failover for disaster recovery. So if you really care about disaster recovery, which is your minimum level of tier where you need to go to, right? So right there where it is. So, and how many replicas do you want? So this tier is going to give you up to 4 different replicas. So that's another thing that you should consider. And let's look at the critical one last time. Again, you have the save money option here, vCore configuration, max data size as well. Scale out, read scale out is already enabled. Would you like to make this to be zone redundant? Again, by default it's no, but you can do it. All right, so let's go back and keep our default one. But what I want you to do, uh, do a very good study of these different tiers and understand what you can do with one tier, when you would like to use the other tier, and when would you be using a business critical tier. Look for the latency, look for disaster recovery, pricing, and number of cores that are available to you. Okay, so I can really just close this one out. Your answer will be discarded. That is fine. I don't want to do anything. Next, let's go to the networking. In the networking is about how are you going to connect to your database. Configure network access and connectivity for your server. The configuration the configuration selected below will apply to the selected servers and all databases it managed. Okay, so let's go to the lab. Here they're saying, hey, go for a public endpoint and allow Azure services and resources to access the server. Yes, do that. So let's come back over here, click on the public endpoint. Do you want to allow Azure services and resources to access the server? You say yes. Add the client IP address. So this, if I select that one, it will add my IP address so I can connect. For this lab, I don't really need it. So let's go back here, because I will not be connecting from my local computer to the database. We will do some stuff, but we will be inside the portal. So we don't need that, at least for now. What else that we need? Actually, you know what? I'm going to change that. So if I need access from my local, say I have Azure Data Studio. So if I want to connect to the database from my local machine, I can do that. So this is a little change that I did. I just said yes. But for your lab, if you're doing it yourself, you don't need to do that. Now next, go to the additional settings. Let's see if we need to configure anything. Additional settings, you need existing data. Okay, so this is another important thing. So when you are creating, if you want, you can create a database without any table at all. You can provide a backup that will take the backup of your existing database and restore it, or you can just give a sample database. Let's just tell, hey, okay, while I'm installing, just give me a sample database. So this is what we are going to do, because we just want to have access to some sample database where we can run some queries and make sure that everything is working properly. Now the next thing that we have, these are all good, and then advanced data security, they're saying not now. So let's come back over here. So one thing that you notice, enable Azure Defender. So this name has changed in the lab. It says advanced data security. So that thing has, Azure Security Center, there has been a lot of renaming going on, and pretty much the security center, that the paid version is now called the Azure Defender. So if you change the a little bit difference in semantics, don't worry about it. So it's asking, do you want the Azure Defender for SQL, protect your data using the Azure Defender for SQL, a unified security package including vulnerability assessment and advanced threat protection. Do you need it now? You say not now, or start free trial. Doesn't matter. So in the lab, it says not now. So just to be consistent, just go with not now. Okay, so that's all you need. Tags, I recommend always that you create tags. For now, I don't need any for the lab exercises, and I'm just gonna create review and create, and everything looks good so far. But look at that, be very careful. This is saying that is gonna cost $380 a month. Okay, so what I'm gonna recommend, that as soon as you're done with the lab, you should get rid of this database. Okay, otherwise you will be charged very highly. So at this time, I'm just gonna hit the create button, and it should start the creation of this database. Okay, so that's all you need to create MySQL, I'm not MySQL, SQL database on Azure. Okay, so let's just watch what is going. So you have this big window where the deployment is in progress is going on, and over here on the notification bar, just like any other deployment, you're also seeing the deployment as it going on. Let's see, deployment to produce group. So this is going on, and once this is done, we'll connect to the database, not from our local machine. What we'll do, we'll go inside the database, and there is something called the Explorer. Let's see what is exactly called query editor. So we'll go down to the query editor inside the DB1 database, and we will log into the database. Okay, and once we log into the database, you will see the SQL Server Authentication. uh, we'll use one of those authentication to log in, and once we are in there, we will be running some queries. Okay, so here they're actually saying add client IP. Okay, so let's just wait for a second before we go too much ahead of ourselves. All right, so deployment is progress, and if you keep looking inside the resource group, it's created. Okay, this is something, so these are created, they are creating independent resources or dependent resources for the database, and now everything is done. So you can just click on go to resource to go to the DB1. Okay, once you are here, use the server name. We have not created a as part of the elastic pool. Subscription location is STUS2. Here's the resource group, and let's see what else that we need. We need the query editor, and the query editor, sometimes it's right here, so I know how to get there, but sometimes there are so many things, sometimes it's hard to find or get to that particular blade that you want. It's a little difficult, so you can also uh, type what blade you want to go to. So just query, it brings up this blade immediately, so I can click on that one, and this is the one they're asking us to go, SQL Server Authentication. So student, and then let's try to put an OK, and I am in. So what happened in here, I have now logged into the particular database right here. I have provided my SQL database username and password, and over here let's see over here what we, so here if you see that if you get this particular error message cannot open this server request, go down to your firewall setting and do the add client IP. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that. So over here, if you go back to, so let's open this portal in another page. Okay, so once I go and open this portal in another page, I'm gonna go to the SQL databases, and here is the server that is hosting my DB. And here let's go to firewall. Okay, so it's either, if you don't find it here, it's over here, set server firewall. So let's click on that one, and over here add client IP. So that's all you need to do. And here I have already done that part at the time of deployment, so that's why I'm able to connect. Okay, if you cannot do that, if you get the error message like this, okay, your client IP is not allowed, do exactly what I just showed you. Okay, and just say add client IP, and look at that. This is already, I already have that IP, right? So I'm just gonna close this one, come back over here. So but if you see that I am able to log inside the database, I have a database that is up and running, and now I can click on all the tables that I have, and look at the structure of the table. Here's the error log and sales, looks like a sample sales type database. Sales, all categories and all kinds of stuff. Now I have some views. Let's reduce, then I have some views and stored proc, and I have some standard stored procs available to me. So let's come back over here, and at this time we can just try to run some queries. So here what I'm gonna do, we're gonna select the top 20 rows from the table name, and we're gonna call it a category name. Then we're gonna call the product category, and then P is for product, right? So your PC is a sales.lt product category, and your P is sales t lt.product table. So what we're gonna do, from two different tables we're gonna get two different columns, and we're gonna join them on this ID. Okay, so it's pretty simple SQL query if you have some experience with SQL. So over here I'm gonna paste it. Let's see if I can. Yeah, I can. So over here I can run this query right by clicking the run button, and look at that, I have the results coming up just fine. Okay, I think that's all we needed to do in this lab. There we go, and it says query succeeded, and you can come back over here at the bottom, and this is a little hard to see but this what it says, that query is successful, but you don't really need that because you're seeing the results already available in here. All right, so come back over here, and that's pretty much it for the lab. So what I would recommend at this time that you do, okay, so go back to your SQL server, okay, your unsaved edits, okay, that I don't care, uh, not now. So in here what I would like you to do, look for your maybe security, spend, data discovery class. For AZ-900 not a lot of things are needed. You can look at some metrics, some diagnostic settings, some alerts, especially over here. You'll be able to create all kinds of graphs just to show you different type of metrics that you need for a database type monitoring. That you can set up your diagnostic settings, and I have a complete video how to show diagnostic settings on many resources within Azure. You should, if you're interested, you can just do search on that in my channel, and just spend some time with some of the other blades. The other thing that I would recommend to spend time is on the geo replication. Okay, so understand what it is, and why do you need geo replication, how to configure geo replication, how easy it is to configure geo replication. Okay, you can automatically manage replication, connectivity, and failovers of this database by adding it to the failover group. So it's unbelievably easy. That's what it is. So I just can click on some stuff, and there you go. You will have a geo-replication available to you. So for high availability, this is unbelievably a great solution. How quickly you can have an infrastructure, a database server that is highly available, uh, high performance, and with disaster recovery built in, with replication built in, high availability built in, load balancing built in. It's just unbelievable. That's the thing that I like about cloud. All right, that's enough for the lab. At least if you are at 900 level, we'll do more labs on the SQL databases for the other type of certification like architect or the data solution certifications. But for this one, you should be good. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, like the video, subscribe if you like, leave your valuable comments so I can make better videos. If you're studying for the AZ-900, then good luck. Welcome to the world of Azure. Thank you. Have a great day.